Hi guys, it's Katy here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can see, I am back in my room. We're filming here and today's video is gonna be about 10 plants that made me really happy in October. So basically my October favorites. Some plants really did push out amazing new leaves or are just growing so well that I'm just like there sitting and enjoying them. We're gonna start off in no particular order. I'll be just picking the plants and showing them to you. So the number one is my absolute favorite because it's beautiful. So this is Anthurium forgetii silver stripe. I got this one off of Equagenera and the latest leaf is just huge and amazing and so veiny and bubbly. Let me just... Can you see how much texture does this leaf have? I mean, it's absolutely amazing. It's really dark as well and bouncy. And if we check the previous leaf, you can see how big is the leaf increase and there's also much more maturity in the veins. This is the leaf that I got this plant with. So another thing to note, forgetii are really fast growers and they will gain in size really damn fast. And I also recently repotted it into a bigger pot. And I think, yeah, you can see there is some nice healthy roots there. And I think it might be slowly working on a new leaf. And you know me, I have a lot of forgetii and I do have high standards for them, but this one just took my heart. I think it might be my favorite out of them. It's just so round and circly and beautiful. Putting it in the back frame so you can enjoy it afterwards. The second plant is a Philodendron, to your surprise. It is a big and bushy Philodendron gloriosum. So this plant was actually an import that I've done last year. So it came from Indonesia. It's some sort of Indonesian form. So I do have this plant for about a year now and I have propagated it before. Oh, I think this leaf and this one used to be a top cutting when I cut it, and then it grew this leaf, which is understandable that it's smaller in size just because the plant had to regrow its whole root system and then it just went bonkers from there. I mean, it is starting to crawl out of the pot here. You can see there's aerial root here and overall the roots on this guy. Funny thing that I've noticed, I keep it in a cache pot and I add water in it just because I find that I really appreciate having a steady flow of water so they can just tweak it whenever they want it, and this is also the reason for all the roots happening down here. Definitely in need of a repot soon. So the next plant is Anthurium and it's huge. It has to be one of my biggest Anthuriums. This, ladies and gentlemen, is... So forgetii crossed crystallinum, which there is no forgetii here, it's just one big crystallinum. It has such good characteristics for crystallinum or its hybrid, I don't know its parentage. It's one of my darkest Anthuriums as well, and just... Can you even comprehend the size of these leaves? Like, this is the biggest leaf right now. And it's just working out on a new leaf, which is currently at a stage where it's very dark and purpley and just stunning. Like, it's already so big. This is my palm and it's gonna grow probably to this size, if not more. This is the previous leaf and it does have two more. And I think it's also about to push out an inflorescence, which is amazing. Moving forward to more Anthuriums. Can one guess? So this one you've seen in my latest videos. I did also get it recently at Equagenera and this is Anthurium betsy AF. As you can see, this plant has just been pushing out a new leaf. These are the previous leaves, which are very dark in color. There is one more, they're a bit damaged, but this betsy tends to have very minimal venation because you'll see some that are very veiny, and this one also has quite prominent posterior lobes. And this is the new leaf, which is the most beautiful thing ever. If you want a leaf that's gonna show you all the colors of the rainbow. Get a betsy AF. So this is another leaf. It is a bit damaged, so this part right here was already there when the leaf unfurled, and there's some scratches just because I had to move it from one apartment to the other, and you can just see the amazing velvety sheen that this plant has. Absolutely stunning. Has to be one of my all-time favorites now, I think. So another update for one of the plants that I also recently got. This is called an Aquagenera Anthurium magnificum silver. It does have very silver veins, but so does my other magnificum, which was sold as a normal magnificum. So I don't know how much of this is true. It has very narrow leaves, and this leaf is just amazing. Like, you can see how narrow it is and the lobes, and it has such thick venation, while it also still has the ridges on the petiole, which does indicate that there is a magnificum in it. It has been growing some roots as well. There are a few roots here, and there is one longer root here, and more. Really happy to see this one grow out just because I think it has so much potential. Next plant, to your surprise, is not an Anthurium. It's actually Philodendron splendid. What you see here are two cuttings that I've potted up from my original mother plant that I've finally, after like a year and a half of owning it, decided to cut it. It has been rewarding me with such big leaves. Like, these cuttings were not like anything special because I did have some nicer ones and I have those for sale, but this is the latest leaf on one of the cuttings, and you can see it's already pretty damn big, and you can see the gloriosum traits in it because that orange is popping through, and they also have reddish abaxials, and it's pushing out a new leaf, which is actually pretty long. And the funny thing is, they actually grow a lot once they unfurl. I'm gonna have to put this one on Waterfall just because they really appreciate growing out. And I do have it in quite dense media, which is nobody usually go for, but it's happy. I mean, these things just grow without anything. So if you want a fussy-free plant that you can grow in your household conditions, get a splendid instead of gloriosum or either magnificum. As it is a hybrid, it's much more stronger and vigorous. And now we're moving to some of my smaller Anthuriums. This right here is one of my seedlings that I grew from one tiny leaf seedling, and it has to be one of my absolute favorites. This leaf has so much sheen and potential, and it's just so bubbly, and the minimal venation really gets me as well. It's in need of a repot because they're still in the relatively small pots, but I want to show you one of the other seedling from the same batch as this guy right here. Like, can you believe these guys are brother and sister? I decided to keep this one just because it had such silvery venation, but it turns out it is super narrow. It used to have one more leaf, but I had to cut it due to some sort of fungal infection, I believe. But this here straight up looks like a cross between crystal and Waterfall, but it's just a complex hybrid, which shows how amazing hybrids can be. I wouldn't have guessed it if someone showed me those two plants and said that they were from the same batch. And then we have another seedling. This was bought from a Facebook seller, and you know that seller that you find that's in there for growing plants and, you know, occasionally making money but not just milking people, and you can find some really good deals. Well, this is that one seller. So this plant was sold to me as Papi X Crystal, and I've seen the mother plant and it's amazing. But this seedling has now pushed a very narrow leaf, which really reminds me of Papillilaminum. And I'm so happy because I just cannot wait for this one to grow, and I've actually ordered another seedling right now because I saw that she has some more for sale. Another seedling. This is Anthurium Ace of Spades crossed with Magnificum. I have been kinda air layering it just because these guys tend to grow very leggy, and I do want those aerial roots to grow back into the soil and, you know, contribute to bigger root systems. So I've been kinda guiding them down, and I think I will have to propagate it at one point because I think the stem is like this long already. This is the latest leaf this plant has grown, and it's very shimmery and bluish, and it's getting bigger. These guys are not 1 year old, but soon to be. This is the previous leaf, and as you can see, it is rapidly growing in size, which is amazing and makes me really happy. I should probably need a repot or some fresh soil, just because I think it's gonna really help this guy out. And last but not least, we have a pot full of stuff. Ta-da! So this is... Originally in this pot there was only this forgetii chunk that, well, I grew this one from a propagation, and it is pushing out a new leaf, which is really cute. It's really dark, as you can see, like this is the first leaf that this plant has grown, but the star of the show is actually this guy here. Can you guess who this is? This is actually Anthurium luxurians that also came from a stump, and funny thing with this guy is, if you've grown Anthuriums from stump, you know they will usually, in most cases, first grow new leaves or even 2 leaves before they start growing any new roots, but this guy actually pushed out new roots first, and I do have to separate them just because I fear they're gonna get entangled together. And there's also, randomly, but this is Philodendron Sodoroi stem cut, which is just in here because sharing is caring, am I right? So this was it for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed me rambling about my favorite plants this month. Tell me in the comments down below which one did you like the most of the ones that I've showed you, and you can also tell me which plant was your favorite this month, if you had it, because majority of these plants I really like anyways. So hopefully you've enjoyed. If you did, please give it a like, hit that notification button, and I'll see you next time. Bye!